Anderson, and I am the staff liaison for softball this year. Joining me on the call is Mike Zarnowski, and Mike, you can go ahead and start recording if you'd like. And then also joining me on the call is Jim Chin. For those of you who might not know, and some of you might know, Rick will be unable to join us tonight because we are doing a Special Olympics type night at the Orioles game tonight that is for the Unified Relay across America. So that's a great opportunity for us, and unfortunately, Rick will just be unable to join us, but that's okay. Okay, so everyone can see the agenda. We'll just cover, it's going to be the same basic run through that every pre-competition webinar is. We'll go through some softball related stuff, some rules stuff, some rule specifications. Then we'll go into some of our general summer games information. Here's our logo, our wonderful 45th anniversary Summer Games logo. Okay, so we have our competition dates and some basic information. As all of you know, our competition dates are Saturday, June 6th and Sunday, June 7th. We are offering individual skills, traditional and unified slow pitch softball. The divisions and game schedules will be set no later than Wednesday, June 3rd, at which time we will email that out to all of you. The team competition both days is going to, the team competition, both days is going to start at 9 a.m. or 8 a.m., excuse me, as you can see there. Some of you may notice that there is on Saturday a 5 to 8 p.m. slot. So this year, for the first time, Towson University now has a beautiful softball venue. We are going to offer a Saturday evening game that will occur during the time the game is held, and will just give us an opportunity to highlight some team competition.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us, whoever that is. If you wouldn't mind muting your phone.
I am using my phone. Oh, muting my phone. Muting my phone?
Yes, if you just hit *6 on your phone, it'll mute it.
Hello?
Okay, also on Saturday, starting at 10 a.m., we have our individual skills competition. And then again on Sunday, starting at 8 a.m., we'll have our team competition. We are at the Towson varsity softball field again this year, as well as the practice football field will be our individual skills venue. And then we're back at Cockeysville Middle School. As I mentioned, Rick McCauley is the competition director. He was unable to join us tonight. And on the call is our head rules official, Jim Chen. As you can see here, we have 18 teams. That's an increase from last year. We also have 39 skills athletes, which I don't know last year's number exactly, but it's around the same number as last year. Again, we encourage spectators to bring a lawn chair so they can view. There is ample viewing area. A lot of the fields do not have bleachers at Cockeysville Middle School. There are some bleachers at Towson University, but still encourage everyone to bring a chair. There's the rules committee, Rick McCauley, is competition director. Myself, Nick Anderson, is a staff liaison for softball. Jim Chin and Bev Fusili are both umpires who are serving on the rules committee. And also at the completion of today's call, if any of you would like to nominate yourself or an athlete on your team for the rules committee, we'll take those at the end of the call today. Here is a venue map of Towson University. We will be down here for those who are on site. I'm not sure if you can see my mouse on the screen. I'm assuming you can. But if you can't, in the bottom left corner, you'll see the softball and softball skills venues. Here's a larger blow-up of those. Again, you'll see the skills field off to the left and the varsity softball field off to the right. And it looks like this is an old screen capture, so this is not what the new softball field looks like. Again, here's Cockeysville Middle School. I'm sure everyone is very familiar with this facility, the same as we've been using the last few years. And Jim, if it's okay, I'm going to hand it over to you. If you is your phone. You just need to press *6, Jim, to unmute it. I'm going to hand it over to you if you just want to run through some of the rules and this stuff.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. The 5-run maximum per inning is not in effect this year. All batters will start with a 0-0 count. So you get the full 4 balls and 3-strike count with no courtesy foul. Any second foul ball after the second strike will be considered a strikeout. Coaches are not required to submit a line. Well, coaches will be required to submit a lineup card 10 minutes prior to the scheduled start of each game and submit it to the score. Teams must report to competition field at least 15 minutes prior to their scheduled start of each game in case we can start early. The teams are not at field ready to play 10 minutes after the scheduled start. Game is a forfeit, and coaches are required to check in at the softball control center. Regulation game is 7 innings or the time limit of 1 hour and 15 minutes. Let's see. If it is a tie, then the teams will continue to play until a winner is determined. Complete innings must be played and let the team second at bat score with the required number of runs. If the home team is ahead, then they don't have to bat the bottom of the inning. There's going to be a commitment line 20 feet from home plate on both lines. There should be 2 lines marked to both the scoring plate and the regular home plate. If a runner has crossed the commitment line, that means 1 foot across the commitment line, then they have to continue. Courtesy runner. That's any eligible player in the official lineup, including available subs, may be used as a courtesy runner. It doesn't have to be the last out. If you only have enough, if you only have 10 players or 9 players, then we can use the last out. In unified, only an athlete may courtesy run for an athlete, and only a partner may courtesy run for a partner. Tie breaks. At the top of the 8th inning, we go to what's called an international tiebreaker. The player who's scheduled to bat last in that half of an inning is placed on second base. And it can be a sub for that runner. Run rule is 15 runs after 4, 12 runs after 5. Appeal plays. They have to be, if there's a question on the play, it has to be appealed before the next pitch. If a pitch has been made, there are no more appeals. Home run rule. At the only place where we're going to have a home run rule will be at Towson, where there is a fence. And it's 2 over the fence home runs. Anything after 2 home runs, the batter will be out. I think everybody knows the principle of meaningful involvement. It's going to be up to the umpire on the field to make a determination about meaningful involvement.
Hey, Jim, I know it's always a question of the play at the plate and what the pitcher can do and what they can't do. It did come up this weekend. It was handled correctly at the qualifier in Calvert County this weekend when it was brought up, but I was hoping you could just speak about that real quick.
Okay. If there's a play at the plate, the catcher should be the one making the play, with the pitcher backing up the catcher. If the catcher is not available to make a play, then yes, the pitcher can come in and make a play. But if the catcher is there, they should be the one making the play. Okay, is there any questions? Okay, bats, bats will be checked every game. I'll be notifying umpires, make sure they check the bats each game. I don't think we're going to have a problem with balls, and that's about it.
The one thing that I wanted to stress, and it is noted here that something that we're not allowing is jewelry of any kind. That's both for players and for coaches. Is that correct, Jim?
Just the players. Coaches, it doesn't matter because they're not participating.
When I spoke to Rick earlier, we might need to take this offline and get back to all the coaches. When I spoke to Rick earlier, Rick did specifically mention coaches as well.
If they're base coaches, well, we'll have to discuss that.
Okay.
And then there's no metal cleats, and all batters, base runners, and on-deck batters must have a helmet. Chin strap's not required. It's recommended that coaches do wear a helmet. And catchers must have a helmet with a mask and throat protector. Chest protector and shin guards are recommended but not required. Exposed jewelry. I'm telling the umpires, no jewelry, except for the medical lip bracelets and necklaces, of course. Okay. It's all yours, Nick.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Jim.
This is Bob Scott, Anne Arundel County. I got a question, please.
Go ahead.
If this came up in the Calvert qualifier last weekend, in slow pitch, if a pitch hits a batter, does the batter go to first base or not?
No, this is not fast pitch or baseball. Just because they get hit by the pitch does not mean they walk.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Any other rules-related questions?
It's Bob Golden here. Nick, I got a quick question regarding pitcher's helmet. The one I ordered just came in today.
Mm-hmm.
So we're allowed to use that for the tournament, correct?
Correct, yeah. After discussing it with Jim and a few other people, it was determined that anyone in the field can wear anything they feel comfortable wearing as long as it's in good working condition. Correct, Jim?
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions, rules related? Okay, perfect. So moving along. Competition format. For team competition, we will utilize the round-robin format, followed by single elimination. In the cases of two-team divisions, we will just do only the round-robin format. When the divisions are announced, you'll see very clearly what type of format that you'll be operating under. It'll be laid out within divisions and within the brackets. Should two teams tie following the preliminary competition round, the following tiebreaker procedures will be used. First, it'll be head-to-head competition results, total runs scored / runs allowed differential, and then total runs allowed. And if it's still tied after all of that, we will go to a coin flip. Medal round competition will conclude on Sunday with teams competing in a semifinal game, followed by a gold medal game or a bronze medal game if necessary.
Again, competition schedule. So Friday we will have our coaches meeting from 6 to 6:30 in University Union Room 316. If there are any of you writing this down quickly, feel free to still do so. But again, this will be emailed out at the end of the presentation, so you do not have to write anything down if you don't feel like it. Buses will begin running on Saturday morning at 7 a.m. We have not set the schedule, but we are planning on having competition start at both fields at 8 a.m. There may be a slight adjustment to that, not earlier, but there may be a slight adjustment later, just depending on how the schedule lays out when Rick and I actually sit down and start working some of that out. Again, on Saturday, there will be one evening game at the Towson Varsity Softball Facility. Starting at 10 a.m. on the Towson practice field, we will have the preliminary round of the skills competition. Once that's concluded and after a lunch break, we will begin the final round of skills competition. And one change this year, the head coaches meeting will be at 5 p.m. at the Towson Varsity Softball Field. So we'll have the coaches meeting prior to the evening game at the Varsity Softball Field. We encourage you to come with your team and to watch the game after, but you do not have to bring your team if you don't want to. If you just want to come, that's perfectly fine. But again, we do encourage your team to come with you and watch the game after. There's also something related to that evening that we'll talk about at the end of the webinar because it'll involve some full discussion. Again, on Sunday, the buses start running at 7, and we are looking to start competition at 8. That may be adjusted a little bit later, just depending on the schedule once Rick and I sit down.
Nick?
Yes?
Before you move on, some of us coaches might still be coaching when you're having the coaches meeting on Saturday.
Competition, it says 5 p.m., but competition will, what Rick and I talked about today, competition will be wrapped up before 5 p.m. So we might have to move it a couple minutes later, just depending on once we get the schedule laid out. But it is, as of right now, we are looking to have the coaches meeting at 5 p.m. Once we release the schedule, we'll let everyone know in that email if we are adjusting that coaches meeting slightly later.
And is that going to cause an issue with dinner?
No, it will not. Are you talking about for you as a coach or the game in general?
Well, yeah, both.
Okay, you as a coach will make sure that you get fed. The game in general, the teams that are participating, we are going to make sure they get fed as well. Everyone's going to eat. It just may be slightly out of the normal how it happens, but everyone will get fed. And actually, Mike might be, if Mike is available, he might have a better idea of how that logistically will work.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. I mean, a lot of it's all going to depend upon when we get the final schedule worked out. If the schedule is such that we are not able to, that there's a concern about teams getting to dinner and then getting to their next location, or for coaches getting to dinner and getting to their next location, if need be, we'll have dinner brought to the softball field, to the stadium, the new softball field for the coaches meeting, and or for the teams that are playing. But again, we're pretty confident that once we get the schedule worked out, that the teams that will be playing that night will have a pretty good break before they play that evening game, and then again we'll look at the coaches who are coming back from Cockeysville. That's the biggest issue, I think, and see. And if we need to do something special for dinner, we'll make that happen.
Hi, this is Fred Grell. The schedule for the individual skills competition, I know there's a lot of skills athletes that would like to play a game, and it doesn't look like the schedule is conducive to providing that capability.
Yeah, I communicated individually with the skills coaches, and we are going to have a brief discussion about that game and the possibilities of that game at the end of the call tonight. So if any of you are interested to stick around, even if that doesn't directly affect you or your team, please feel free to do so. Any other questions based on the schedule? Okay. Meals and food. Okay. All registered delegation members will be provided a box lunch both on Saturday and Sunday. Your registration packets will include the lunch tickets. The teams at the softball field will both be served at both softball venues. Will be served lunch at the venue. All delegation members staying overnight on campus will be provided both dinner and breakfast. They'll be served in the Susquehanna dining room, second floor of the Union, same place they've been served for many years now. And then the athletes and coaches will use their dormitory access card like they have for many years to gain access to both breakfast and dinner, so nothing's changed there. There's the layout of the dinner shifts. I'm not going to read through that when the slides come out. If you would like to look at that, you can do so then. Opening ceremonies and block party. Again on Friday night, same location, lot 20 will be the opening, or the block party opening ceremonies will again be in the CQ Arena. The parade staging will begin at 6:30. The athletes will enter, the delegations will enter from lot 20. And then the main portion of the opening ceremonies again will be in CQ Arena, same as last year.
Nick, sorry to interrupt. I understood there's going to be a barbecue this year, but according to your slide, it looks like it's dinner in the dining hall.
Yeah, hi, Bob. This came up in the meeting with Aquatics earlier tonight. Apparently, your area director misinterpreted something that we said. We were considering having a barbecue this year. Financially, within the budget, we can't do it. We are seriously looking at building that into the budget for 2016 and having dinner at the block party. But this year, we just couldn't make it work.
Want to make sure we go to the right place, that's all. Thank you.
Nope, definitely go to the dining hall.
Okay. Transportation, again, we'll be providing shuttle bus transportation as we have every other year. They will be running Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The bus schedule will be available at the head of delegation meeting. Most of the shuttle buses will have wheelchair lifts. The buses will run again Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Anyone in your delegation or anyone on your team has any sort of special needs, there's the number right there to call, and you'll need to give at least 20 minutes in advance planning of departure. For softball, if you play at the varsity softball field, you'll use the bus stop at lot 20. If you're off-site, the buses will be leaving from behind the University Union. They will be the Towson buses, and then the service will begin at 7 a.m. for those. Also, sorry, the buses will state that they are going to the off-site softball venue. Okay, the emergency procedures and rain plan. It doesn't actually cover the rain plan. So the rain plan for softball, it's just rain. It'll be umpire discretion at both venues, and at Towson, it may actually be Towson athletic management's decision whether we get off before the umpires make that decision. If it's just heavy rain, at Towson, we will relocate into the launch tent area. I'm assuming at Cockeysville, they will relocate into their tented area as well. Lightning, if it's lightning at Cockeysville, you will go into the school. If there is lightning at Towson, we will go into the Towson arena. The Games Control Center is located in the Madigan Room at United Stadium, same as the last 2 years. That will be the main communication center. Staff will be there from 6 a.m. until about 9 p.m. For overnight emergencies, there will be a dormitory security staff person that can contact someone on our team. There will also be important phone numbers within the event guide. Clock and fountain will also be in the control center. And then after the games, you realize something is lost, please feel free to contact me or Melissa Anger, for those of you in the western half of the state, or me in the eastern half of the state, or just need to become a softball contact. Within 30 days, we'll hold all of those items, and we'll get them back to you. There's my other plan. Okay, as I covered, Again, rain will be umpire discretion, lightning, thunder. We will go inside. Okay.
And,
again, softball,
Nick,
as many of you remember. Go ahead.
Nick, just one note on that. If we do have to go into a lightning or thunder plan, we do need to wait 30 minutes after the last sight of lightning or hearing of thunder before we can resume. So be prepared for that. Even if it looks sunshiny out, we still have to wait that full 30 minutes.
Thank you, Mike. Those of you may remember 2 years ago with our wonderful abbreviated schedule. If it does rain significantly or if we do have significant delays of lightning, we may have to go to an abbreviated schedule. So just as we get closer and the weather starts to become more clear what weather will be happening next week, and just keep that in mind that we will do our best, if it rains significantly, to not just cancel the whole weekend's worth of competition. We will do what we need to do to get the competition in. Before we open it up to questions, I mentioned earlier that on Saturday night, not only are we having the game, the evening game, but we also had the idea of potentially having an athlete home run derby, and I wanted to open that idea up to coaches and see what their thoughts were. The initial thoughts that we had is a coach could offer one person from their team that would be a chance to play in a home run derby that Saturday night. Now, obviously, you can choose to decline if for some reason you don't want to participate, but we just wanted to offer that as an opportunity and see what coaches thought. So does anyone have any feedback or feelings on that? Again, if you're muted, you can use *6 to unmute your phone.
Did you say how many athletes per team, Nick?
One athlete per team.
Okay.
Bob, any thoughts?
Yeah, the hard thing is picking one.
Yeah,
not sliding everybody else.
I agree.
Yeah.
So what we could do in that situation, instead of you just picking one, you can give us as many as you want, and we can do a random draw. So you give us the 5 athletes or the 6 athletes that you think would be interested, and we randomly pick one per team out of the group that you give us.
Yeah, I think the athletes would enjoy it, actually, even those not participating to watch a teammate do it. But
and then obviously logistically, with the distance of the walls and the number of outs and the time that it would take, we'll have to figure some of those out. We don't have everything figured out yet. It was just an idea of a way to add something to that Saturday evening sort of showcase game, we can call it, or showcase event.
So is this traditional and Special Olympian athlete only?
Rick and I, when we talked earlier, we had the idea of potentially doing just a bracket of athletes and then a bracket of one unified partner per team, and they wouldn't end up playing each other in the end.
Okay.
But time-wise, we weren't sure if we would have enough time, and obviously we want to focus on the athletes over the unified partners. Not saying the unified partners aren't important or anything, but we want to give the athletes the opportunity.
Nick, this is Nancy Schmidt.
Mm-hmm.
I had a question about the timing of this versus the dance that goes on Saturday night.
Yes, they will be happening concurrently.
Because
the opportunity for individuals who might not want to go to the dance or might want to step out of the dance.
Okay.
The location of the dance is.
Nick, can you scroll up and show the
of the Tiger Arena? So
okay.
Nick,
the athletes would just be able to walk right outside and watch some of the game, go back in.
Nick, can you scroll up to the to show the map to show folks how close it is? You literally walk out the door and you're at the softball stadium.
Right. I didn't know. I'm just thinking of some of my athletes that might not be interested in participating just because they're focused on that dance.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
My guys all have 2 left feet, so.
So
if you do it, I'm in. Okay.
Perfect. As you can see here, the star is where the dance will be, and then you can see cheerleading. Again, I'm not sure. Can people see my cursor or not?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where cheerleading and the dance will be, and then right here is the varsity softball field. So it's a very short walk. There's a pathway right along here that you actually have access to the building. So it's literally a step outside, and you're right at the softball facility.
And are you looking at only the upper level teams for the home run derby, or everybody?
No, it could be anyone.
Okay.
Anyone at all. We would love to have one athlete from every team, but we fully realize that some of the lower teams might not have an athlete that can do it, and that's why if you want, you don't have to.
Right.
But
Okay.
Nancy, you can. This is Jim Downs. You can send Keith and get him good and tired Saturday night for Sunday.
I was
That'd
actually
be great.
thinking of Keith when we thought of this idea.
He's the one guy I think that probably could put it out on your team.
There you go. I do like also the idea of giving you guys a list of people.
Yeah, it'd be fun. We have one guy named McCormick that might be.
We're getting a bit of an echo.
Yeah, Nick, if you're getting an echo, that's typically because of someone has their phone unmuted. It's kind of echoing through the phone. So people, we certainly want your comments and your input, but if you could mute your phone, it makes life a lot easier for everybody else to listen in.
There we go. Okay, I think it's gone.
Nick and
yeah,
Mike,
so great
this is
feedback
Pam
from everyone.
Lower Shore.
Oh, go ahead, Pam.
I'm sure that my guys would be interested in the home run derby.
Perfect. Okay, yeah, it's sounding like everyone thinks this is a good idea. So what we're going to go ahead and do when the slide deck, or actually at completion of the webinar, however you want to do it, either when I send out, the slides get sent out or when the webinar is over, if you just want to shoot me an email with the list of athletes from your team that you would like to have in the draw, I will go ahead and let's say if everyone can get me their list of names by Friday, then by Monday I will send out the list of who I've drawn. You can send 3 people, you can send 1 person, you can send your entire team, however you want to do it. And then we'll go ahead and draw 1 name from every team. Okay. Now, does anyone have any general questions? It can be about rules, because Jim is still on. It can be about something just general to summer games, or it can be something softball specific.
This is Lisa from Howard County. I'm actually a coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question about the home run rule, and you said it only applies at Towson. So what happens at Cockeysville?
Cockeysville, the fields, I will scroll back up. The fields are not actually fenced at Cockeysville.
Right.
So the home run rule would not come into effect because the home run rule is 2 over the fence home runs.
So if
the fields are not fenced.
if the team hits 6 home runs, then they get 6 runs?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because since there are no fences,
great.
It's just a situation where they hit the ball and it rolls and they end up scoring, then that's fine. The rule is 6 over the fence home runs.
Okay, great. Because I think it was different before, but that sounds great.
Yes, this is Pam Gross from Lower Shore. Regarding an incident that happened at Calvert County with my pitcher and catcher, it was stated that if in this conference that the catcher had to make the play. Well, the incident that happened on my field was the pitcher fielded the ball. He had to run in to field the ball, and so instead of throwing the ball, he went ahead and tagged the base, home plate. Now, according to what they just said, that would be not permitted. But it was not a situation. I tell my players if they can make the play by not throwing it, the fewer throws you have, the better off you are.
Yes. So since Jim, you are still on the call, correct?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So the situation that occurred at Calvert County, it was sort of a swinging bunt. The ball was within 10 feet in front of home plate, and both the pitcher and catcher ran for it. The pitcher got there before the catcher did, and then the pitcher just continued to home plate. His momentum was already carrying him in that direction. And the umpire deemed that was a fine play, and I would assume that most umpires would in that situation. Is that correct?
That's perfectly fine because the
Yeah.
pitcher has the ball already.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. And he was moving, his body was moving that way anyway.
Yes, that's perfectly fine.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Nick, this is George Fryman in Anne Arundel. Will the buses be picking us, I think you said lot 20, to go to the
So
house?
lot 20 is the drop-off lot for, lot 20 is down here. That's the drop-off lot for the Towson softball venue.
Right. Where do we pick up the bus if we're in the towers? Is that going to pick us up at the towers again?
Yes, so give me 1 second while I orient myself here. Yes.
And
so
Nick, it's a bus stop right there by the C and Cross Campus.
the towers are right here, and then the bus stop would be right here.
And is that for also picking us up and taking us to Cockeysville if we happen to be out there?
Yes, I believe so. Correct, Mike?
No, the bus stop there at Cross Campus is the loop. To pick up the bus to go to the Towson, to Cockeysville is right, the yellow bus stop right by where his cursor is, where the arrow is pointing right there, the white arrow.
So on the other side of the Union Building. Okay.
Correct.
Yes, the Cockeysville bus stop will be here.
Okay.
Everyone sees the screen.
Yeah.
The campus loop will be right here.
Okay.
Yeah, and the campus loop will hit each of the other yellow bus stops, except for that one in what used to be Lot 9 at the far end of the Union. The loop just goes around continuously all day. It hits every one of the other stops that you see. I have no idea what the order is, but
These stops here.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Any additional questions? Okay, well, thank you very much for joining us tonight. I look forward to seeing everyone at Towson. Again, this slide deck will be emailed out, and if you are interested in participating in the Home Run Derby on Saturday night, please send me the list of athletes that you would like to be considered, and I will randomly draw out of that list. Please get that to me by the close of business on Friday.
And this is Nick, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye.